Hey everyone, welcome to Homeschool, and this is our fourth video on a chapter called Structure of Atom. So in my previous video, we have actually started with quantum mechanical model, right, which was introduced by Schrödinger, where he told one important point that the electrons do not revolve in a fixed orbits. Instead of that, they revolve in empty spaces around the nucleus, okay, where we have maximum chance of finding them. So that empty space where electron keeps revolving most of the time is called as orbitals. So we got to know now electrons are present inside the orbitals. Okay, so that is the electron's address, right? So you have so many electrons in a particular atom. So it is very much necessary to know which electron is present in which orbital. I mean, you must clearly understand where the electron is located exactly. I mean to say, you must know the address of an electron. So, if you want to know somebody's address, say if you want to know my address, initially you must know my state and later my district and later my town and later my colony, right? My street, then my house. That's how you will find somebody's address, right? In a similar way, say we are trying to find the address for a particular electron. Okay, so this address is given by a set of numbers called quantum numbers. Okay, so in short, in a normal language, if I have to tell what are quantum numbers, I can say that just they are indicating the address of an electron. Okay, so quantum numbers gives information about address of an electron. Okay, fine. So this is what general term I can use, right? But you must specify a particular definition for quantum numbers to write in examination, right? So what I can write the definition here is they give information about the location of an electron, mainly the location of an electron, right? Fine. So there are a set of quantum numbers. Say the first quantum number is principal quantum number. Second important one is azimuthal quantum number. Third one, magnetic quantum number. And the fourth one is spin quantum number. Okay, spin quantum number is something very different, but these are the three quantum numbers which tells you about, which describes, they help us to describe, location of an electron. Okay, so we all know where the electrons are located in so-called orbitals, right? So orbitals do have a specific size and shape actually. And orbitals do have some amount of energy. So these are the quantum numbers indirectly tell you about the size of an orbital. They talk about the shape of an orbital and they also talk about the energy of an orbitals. We know electrons are present in orbitals, but there are so many different types of orbitals. Okay, so in which orbital exactly the electron is there? Say for example, my address, like I stay in India. Okay, so I stay in India, but in India, where exactly I stay? In which state I stay? Which district do I stay? Right? So if you want to know a detailed address of an electron, these quantum numbers will help us to tell those. Okay, so these quantum numbers will help us to tell in which orbital it is present, and they help us to tell what shape does the orbital has, what energy does the orbital has. When you know these things, you can actually find out the nature of an electron. Okay, when you know the nature of an electron, definitely you can able to decide how it is going to react. Okay, so once you know how it is going to react, you can able to conduct various types of chemical reaction that is suitable for that particular electron, right? So quantum numbers have that much importance, right? So let us begin to understand each and every quantum number in detail. So first and foremost, let us go with the principal quantum number. Principal quantum number. So principal quantum number tells about the main shell of an electron. It tells about the main shell of an electron. So imagine I compare an atom for a country. Okay, imagine there's a particular atom which is nothing but a country. Okay, so at the center of a country, there is a region called nucleus. Inside this, protons and neutrons are there, and remaining all, this is the empty area in a country, right? And this empty area we have actually divided into states. Country will have something called states. Okay, again inside a state you will have something called districts, right? And again inside a district you will have something called towns, right? So you people will stay in a particular town, right? So where do we stay? We stay in a country, no doubt. So if you take one particular electron, it stays in this country, no doubt. But in which state does it stay, guys? So, the principal quantum number tells about the state of an electron. Imagine atom is a country. Okay, country will have so many states. State will have so many districts. Districts will have many towns. So electron is present inside a town actually. If you want to know the town, first you must know what state does it belong to, right? So principal quantum number is just like, the main shell. These states of an electron, states of a country, I will correlate to the shells of a atom. Okay, we call the states as the shell. So what did I tell you? It tells about the main shell of an electron. Main shell of an electron. I agree, electron is keeping on rotating in a particular space. I told that space only orbital. But you say just relate to the country. We are staying in a particular space in this universe. But exactly where? We have certain country. Country has a state. State is also a region. So inside a state, again a smaller region is there, district. Inside a district, again a smaller region is there. What is that? A town. So inside a town, no, you will stay. Right? Just like that, electrons also stays in the main shell. Later comes subshell. Later comes orbital. Okay, so principal quantum number tells everything about the main shell of an electron. Okay, and each nucleus has many shells. So this is how we represent. Anyway, shell is not a particular orbit, guys. Just to make our study more comfortable and easy, this is how we represent the shells. Okay, so this is a nucleus. This is entire country where nucleus is present at the center, and so many states would be there in a country, right? So this is the states itself is the shells here. So this is shell number 1, this is shell number 2, this is shell number 3. Like this, you will have so many shells around a nucleus. Okay, so this principal quantum number is indicated with the letter small n. Okay, so n can have values from 1, 2, 3, 4 and etc. Okay, so n is equal to 1 in the sense what? First shell. N is equal to 2 in the sense second shell, that is the second state. N is equal to 3 in the sense what? Third shell or third state. Okay, like that. the principal quantum number is giving entire information about the main shell of an electron. Okay, like in a country, in which state do you belong to? Like that, in a particular atom, to which main shell the electron is belonging to is told by our principal quantum number. So it can have the values right from 1, 2, 3, so many shells it can have. Okay, there is no limit. Actually, many shells it can have. Fine. And now we can indicate these shells with a particular letters also, alphabetical letters. So first shell is called as K shell, second one is called as L shell, third one is called as M shell, and fourth one is called as N shell. Okay, so like this you can indicate the shells with digits as well as with letters. Fine. Okay. Now let us discuss about the next quantum number, that is azimuthal quantum number. Azimuthal quantum number is indicated with a small letter L. Clear? And now azimuthal quantum number talks about the subshell of an electron. Subshell of an electron. Clear everybody? See, these are like main states, okay, of a country where electrons are there. We are calling those states as shells, I said. And now inside a state, you will have certain districts, right? You will have certain districts, right? So these districts, we are calling them as subshell. Say electron in a country, atom is a country, in a country, we got to know different states. Now, in each state, there are different districts, right? So, we are talking about the districts now. Okay. So, these districts are represented with the letter L, and we call those districts as the subshells. Okay. So, azimuthal quantum number represents the subshell of an electron in the main shell, in which subshell the electron is located. Say in the first state, in which district you belong to. The same way, in the first main shell, there are certain districts in which district the electron can belong to. You know, this is what told by azimuthal quantum number. Okay, and it can have values. It can have values from n-1. n-1 onwards. Okay, so what do you mean by this sentence? Don't worry. Say, imagine if n is equal to, say, let me write n and L values now. If n is equal to 1, that means in our first state, okay, there will be only one district and that district's name is 0. Okay, in our first shell, there is actually only one subshell. And what is the subshell's number? 0. Okay, it doesn't mean that there are 0 districts. It doesn't mean that there are 0 subshells. Okay, here district means subshell. Fine. Okay, so 0 indicates that there is one district. 0 in the sense it is S subshell. For 0, we are giving a name that is S. Okay, we call this 0 as S subshell, guys. Okay, fine. And coming to the second state, okay, that is, this is K state. Okay, now let me go to the L state, that is our second main state in a country. Okay, and you know, second state have 2 districts. Okay, what are they? 0 and 1. Okay, second state has 0 and 1. And now you see it will have values from n-1. So what is the n value here? 1. Okay, so 1 minus 1 is how much? 0, right? So 0 is the value for L. Okay, and coming, what is n here? 2. Let me substitute n is equal to 2. 2 minus 1, how much? 1. Okay, so that means it can have 0 and 1, 2 districts. Remember this. This is what very important. Okay, in the second state, you have actually 2 districts, guys. Okay, 2 subshells. What are the 2 subshells? One is S subshell. 0 means always it is called as S subshell. And another L is equal to 1 in the sense P subshell. Okay, it is P subshell. Okay, fine. And coming to the third state will have 3 districts. Third state will have 3 districts. Second state will have 2 districts. First state will have 1 district. Okay, first main shell will have 1 subshell. Second main shell will have 2 subshells. Third main shell will have 3 subshells, like that. Fourth main shell will have 4 subshells. Fifth main shell will have 5 subshells. So that is what the concept here. Okay, so here what are the L values you will get? 0, 1, 2. 0 means s orbital, 1 in the sense p orbital, 2 in the sense d subshell. Okay, 2 in the sense d subshell. S subshell is there, p subshell is there, d subshell is there. Clear? Fine. And now in the fourth state, okay, you have how many districts? 4 districts are there. What are they? 0 district is there, first district is there, district number 2 is there, district number 3 is there. What is the name of this district? S subshell. This one P subshell. This one D subshell. And this one F subshell. Okay, F subshell. Clear everybody? So now what is the name of this subshell? You know, you can also write it as 1S subshell. In the first state, you have only 1 district. What is the name of that district? What is the type of that district? It is S subshell. So what is the name of that district? You can also write it as 1S subshell. And here I will call this 0 as 2S because this S subshell is present in the second state, second main shell. Yes or no? So this is 2S subshell and 2P subshell. Okay, and this 0 we will call it as 3S subshell, and this is 3P subshell, and this is 3D subshell. Yes or no? 2 in the sense D subshell. Okay, so in the fourth state you have 4S district, you have 4P district, you have 4D district, and you have 4F district, right? Like that it goes on. Clear everybody? Okay, so with one particular diagrammatic way I will explain this once again so that you will get more clarity. See, this is our nucleus. See guys, and let me use another color. This is our first state, I mean first main shell. Okay, and this is our, you know, second main shell, second state. Okay, and this is our third state. Okay, and this is our fourth state. So these are our main shell. Okay, so now you tell me, in the first state how many districts are there? There is only 1 district guys. Okay, inside this region there is again a sub-region. Okay, for that we are giving a name and a number guys. What is the number for that sub-region? Okay, electron may present in this region, electron may present in this region, electron may present in this region, electron may present in this region. Main regions. Okay, main states in a country. Country is one region, but country is divided into so many regions, no? Right? Main states. Okay, so now inside this state, this is actually a smallest state, a smallest shell, smallest region behind the nucleus. Okay, around the nucleus, where this particular smallest region will have only 1 subshell. What is that? 1S subshell. Okay, it will have only 1 subshell, that is 1S subshell. Clear everybody? Fine. And you know, coming to the second state is much bigger. You know how many districts it has? 2 districts. One is 0, another one is 1. So what is the name of this district? You know, 2S, isn't it? So this is our, so this second state, this particular main region again has 2 sub-regions. What are the 2 sub-regions? One is 2S, another one is 2P. Electron may stay in 2S or electron may stay in 2P. Okay, fine. And now coming to the third shell, this region is quite biggest, little far away from nucleus. Okay, and this particular space has much more smaller regions. Okay, smaller districts in the main state, right? So how many districts are there in this main state? You see here, how many districts, right? 0, 1 and 2, right? So that means 3 districts are there. What are their names? What are their names here? You have 3s, right? 3p and 3d. Okay, electron may be present in 3s subshell, electron may be present in 3p subshell, and electron may be present in 3d subshell. Like electron can be present in this district, or this district, right? And coming to the fourth state, that is fourth main shell. How many subshells do you find here? 4, right? So what are the 4 subshells? What are their names? They are 4s, 4p, 4d and 4f, right? So like this, in each region again subregions are there. Okay, so this is the first main region. In this only one subshell is there, that is 1s. This is second main shell, 2 subregions are there. We call those subregions as 2s, 2p. This is third main shell, 3 subregions are there, 3s, 3p, 3d. Here 4s, 4p, 4d, 4f. Okay, so now you got an idea about main shell and subshell. Clear? Fine. Coming to magnetic quantum number, it is represented by the symbol ml, small m subscript small l. Okay, so this is the symbol of magnetic quantum number. So what does this quantum number tell about an electron is? So this is actually telling about the orbital of an electron. Orbital in the sense we all know these are the small spaces where electron is present, right? Now we have coming to the small region. Okay, so in the big region around the nucleus is divided into sub regions, right? Each sub region, like each main region is again divided into sub regions. So each sub region will again have a very small region where actually electron is present. Okay, so we have come to the streets. So these are like district, right? Each district will have certain town or different towns. So we people live inside a town, right? So we have come to the final stage, that is the town part, where exactly the electron is staying. Okay, fine. So what I can write here, magnetic quantum number tells about the orbital. Tells about the orbital of an electron and also orientation of an orbital, orientation and shape of an orbital. Okay, so these regions where electron is revolving, it will have a particular shape. Say for example, if an electron is revolving something like this, electron maximum of the time it is revolving something like this. Say if I give a particular shape for this space, I'm getting a particular shape, right? Specific shape I'm getting. I mean, this is what the shape of the orbital. Orbital is this region. But this region is there in this particular shape because electron is revolving in this fashion. Right? So that is what we mean by orientation and shape. Orientation means direction of orbital. Shape in the sense like in a pattern where electron is exactly moving in that smaller area. Okay? So that is what we mean by orbital, orientation and shape of orbital. Okay. Now let us see, each and every subshell have certain orbitals. Okay. Inside the orbital, now our electron is staying. Okay, so let us see which subshell has how many orbitals. Fine. So subshell is designated with the letter L, right? So for a particular L value, we will have minus L2 plus L magnetic quantum number values. Okay, so minus L2 plus L magnetic quantum numbers are available. Don't worry, just observe here. Say if L value is equal to 0, our magnetic quantum value is also 0. That means L is equal to 0 in the sense what, guys? Subshell, right? So this is our S subshell. This is our S subshell. So S subshell will not have any streets or any towns, guys. S subshell itself is an orbital. S subshell itself is an orbital. You know, it will have only one orbital. Okay, so that is S subshell itself is an orbital. Okay, so this itself is an orbital. See, this is a very smallest district of a smallest state, where this district does not have any towns and streets. Okay, so the electron stays in a district itself, right? Fine. Okay, and now L is equal to 1. That means we are talking about P subshell. We are talking about P subshell. So when L is equal to 1, we can have ML values. ML values here is -1. See, minus L to plus L, you have to write the values. So -1, in the middle you get 0, and also you will get +1. That means how many orbitals are there in P subshell? 3 P orbitals are there. Okay, so 3 orbitals. Okay, let me write. 3 orbitals are present in P subshell. P subshell. Okay, got to know? So how many towns are present in P subshell? Okay, this is our first state. It is having S subshell. So this S subshell will not have any towns. So this itself we call it as orbital. And coming to the next state is having 2 districts. That means 2 subshells. One is S. Again, the S means you know what? ML value is equal to 0. That means there are no towns here. But you see, you have 2P district, right? In this 2P district, how many towns are there? -1 town is there, 0th town is there, +1 town is there. So these are actually, you know, it's like names for those orbitals. Okay, so there are 3 orbitals are there in P subshells. What are they? -1, 0, +1. Okay, so these numbers actually indicate you know, it is like a name of those orbitals. Clear, everybody? Fine. Okay, and now when L is equal to 2, that is L is equal to 2 in the sense D subshell. Okay, so our D subshell, I mean, you know, D, where is it? In the third state, our D subshell is there. So this D subshell can have how many orbitals? Let us check it out. ML value for L is equal to 2 means start from -2. -2 is there. -2 to +2. What are the values will come? -2, -1, 0, right? +1. So how many values are coming? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So that means 5 orbitals. 5 orbitals are there. Okay, in D subshell. How many orbitals are there? 5 orbitals are there in D subshell. I mean, this particular district D subshell is there, no? That's a very biggest district where you will have 5 towns. In each town, electrons are going to stay. Clear? Coming to L is equal to 3. When L is equal to 3, ML values will range from -3 to +3. What are the values will come from -3 to +3? -3, -2, -1, 0, +1, +2, +3. Right? So how many orbitals are there in L is equal to 3 subshell? L is equal to 3 in the sense it is our F subshell. Right? It is our F subshell. So how many orbitals are there in F subshell? That is in F district. How many orbitals are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 orbitals. 7 orbitals are there. Okay, in F subshell. F subshell. Got to know? So this is how each and every subshell has some orbitals. So if you see S subshell, it will not have any orbital. That itself is an orbital. That is where in that particular subshell itself, electron in that region itself, the electron keeps moving. Okay, in case of p subshell, right, when L is equal to 1, ml value is -1, 0, +1. That means 3 orbitals are there in p subshell. So in d subshell, how many orbitals are there? 5 orbitals are there. So in f subshell, how many orbitals are there? 7 orbitals are there. So inside these orbitals, electron keeps moving. Clear? And now the concept is, in every orbital, how many electrons can be present? Like we got to know in each district how many towns are present. Now we have to know in each town how many people are staying, right? So we have to know in each orbital how many electrons can rotate. So that is also very important thing to understand here, right? Say for example, s orbital is there. Okay, s orbital in the sense s subshell only. So you know what? Each and every orbital can accommodate only 2 electrons. Okay, that means each and every town, it may be an S town, or it may be a P town, or it may be a D towns, or it may be F towns. Okay, so there are how many S towns? Only 1. There are how many P towns? 3 towns. There are how many D type of towns? 5 towns. There are how many F type of towns? 7 towns. Right? So each and every orbital, these towns are only orbitals, right, where electrons are staying. So each and every town or orbital can have 2 electrons only. I mean, the towns are actually very small, only 2 electrons they can accommodate. Okay, so finally, s orbital can have how many electrons? S orbital is only 1. No, there are no types of s orbitals, right? So s subshell have only 1 orbital. I will call it as s orbital. Okay, s orbital can have only 2 electrons, guys. This is also very important concept. Note it down. Okay, and coming to the p orbitals. How many p orbitals are there? See, p subshell, 3 orbitals are there, no? Those orbitals I am calling as p orbitals. So how many p orbitals are there? 3 are there. Okay, so in total p orbitals can accommodate for how many electrons? 3. Each orbital can have 2 electrons, right? So 3 into 2, how many? 6 electrons. Okay, so that means this is 1 p orbital. It gives place for 2 electrons. This is another p orbital, gives space for 2 electrons. This is another p orbital, gives space for 2 electrons. Okay, so together in p orbitals, p type of orbitals can have 6 electrons. Okay, fine. And now coming to the d orbitals. How many d orbitals are there? D orbitals are 5, right? Okay, each orbital, any type of orbital it is, S, P, D or F, any type of orbital, it can accommodate, it can give place for only 2. Okay, totally how many d orbitals are there? 5 are there. Each one can give place for 2. So 5 into 2, totally how many electrons can be present in d orbitals? 10 electrons. 5 into 2, 10 electrons. And coming to the f orbitals. F orbitals. Okay, so f orbitals, how many are there? 7 f orbitals are there. Why I am calling these are f orbitals? Because they are present in f subshell. Okay, each orbital can give place for, this is 1 orbital gives place for 2, this is second orbital gives place for 2, like that each orbital gives place for 2. So total 7 f orbitals are there, no? Together in 7 f orbitals, how many electrons can stay? 14 electrons can stay. Okay, so this is how like in one type of orbital, like in s type of orbital, only 2 electrons can stay because it is a very small town. Okay, in p towns, how many p towns are available? 3 are available, right? So in 3 p towns, you know, altogether 6 electrons can stay. And now in a d subshell, how many d orbitals are there? 5 d orbitals are there. That means there are 5 towns, d towns are there. Together in all the 5 d towns, how many electrons can stay? 10 electrons. So we have F towns. How many F towns are possible? 7 are possible. In each one, 2 electrons can stay. So in all the 7 F towns, how many electrons can stay? 14 electrons. Okay. So this is what the concept. And now we will learn the shape of these orbitals. I told you orbitals will have different shape, isn't it? So let us see what shape does S orbital, P orbitals and D orbitals and 7 F orbitals have. Coming to the shape of S orbital. S orbital is always spherical, guys. Remember, S orbital is spherical. So this 1s orbital, 2s orbital, 3s orbital, 4s orbital, all of them are spherical in shapes. Okay, so spherical in the sense, say for example, these are the 3-dimensional space, right? So 3 axes. This is x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. It is spherical. Like this, the orbital is spherical in shape. Coming to the p orbital shape. P orbitals are dumbbell. They are dumbbell shaped. Clear? Say how many p orbitals are there? 3 p orbitals are there, no? 3 p orbitals are there, no? Right? Say how do you draw their shapes here? Say for example, this is x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. Okay, and x-axis, z-axis, y-axis. So 3, no? So let us see their orientation. Just observe. You will get to know what do you mean by orientation now. Okay. Say if the dumbbell shape in the sense what? Something like this. This is what we call dumbbell shape. That means p orbital, I mean the electron would move something like this in this fashion. Okay, electron is moving in this fashion, right? So for that pattern we have given a shape and it became a dumbbell. It is a dumbbell shape. Okay, so if that, there are 3 p orbitals, right? We call them as px orbital, py orbital and pz orbital. Px orbital, what happens? The dumbbell is located exactly on x-axis. Okay, this is the orientation of this p orbital. And what is the orientation of py orbital? Okay, located on y-axis. Orientation is along y-axis. And pz orientation is along z-axis. Okay, so this is px orbital, py orbital, pz orbital. So these are the names of 3 p orbitals. Clear? And now let us check it out with d orbital shapes. Shapes of d orbitals. D orbitals are double dumbbell. They are double dumbbell. Okay, double dumbbell in the sense this is one dumbbell, this is another dumbbell. Like this, 2 dumbbells are present. Okay, say for example, how many d orbitals are there? 5 are there. Yes or no? For 5 we have given a names. This is dxy, dyz orbital, dzx orbital, dx square minus y square orbital, dz square orbital. See, the names are given like in what way they have arranged in a 3-dimensional space. Okay, say in what orientation they are present, in what direction. Say we called it as px because it is present, it is located on the x-axis, right? We called it as py because it is there in this direction. We called it as pz because it is there in this direction. So according to the direction, we have given the names for 5d orbitals, guys. Okay, so if this is your x-axis, y-axis and z-axis, the dumbbells are present in between x and y plane. Okay, like this. They are present in between x and y plane. Okay, like that. The dumbbells are present in between y and z plane. The dumbbells are present in between z and x plane. Okay, and here the dumbbells are present, where? On x plane and y plane. See, on exactly x and y. Here the dumbbells are coming in between. Okay, clear everybody? So in dz square, if this is a z-axis, the dumbbell, one dumbbell is present like this and another dumbbell rotates around this. It's rotating around this. Okay, so anyway, don't worry about the detailed aspects of the shapes which you will learn it in higher classes. Just try to remember s orbital is spherical in shape, p orbital is dumbbell in shape, and d orbital is double dumbbell in shape. Clear everybody? And how many s orbitals are there? Just one. How many p orbitals are there? Three. What are the three? Px, py, pz. How many electrons can be present in pz orbital? 2. Each orbital 2. Right? Here 2, here 2, here 2. All together in the p orbitals, totally how many electrons you will find? 6. Right? So how many d orbitals are there? 5. How many f orbitals are there? 7. Okay. So this is what the concept of orbitals. Different orbitals which have different shape. So where are these orbitals present? In the subshells. In the subshells. Clear? Fine. And let us go for the last quantum number, that is spin quantum number. Coming to the spin quantum number, it is represented by the letter ms. Okay, small m subscript s. Fine. So it talks about spin of an electron. It talks about the spin of an electron. What do you mean by the spin? See, each orbital will have, say for example, this is one p orbital. Okay, so each orbital will have 2 electrons, I said, and these electron keeps rotating. You know, they can, you know how they will revolve around the nucleus. You know, there are 2 movements possible for the electron, guys. One is revolving around itself, and another one is revolving around the nucleus. This is how it revolves. See, it revolves around itself. Like that, it can revolve around the nucleus, something like this. Okay, spinning, it spins. Okay, and the 2 electrons are there, no? One electron spins in a clockwise direction, like this. It spins like this, clockwise. It spins in a clockwise direction and moves around the nucleus. The other electron spins in anti-clockwise and moves around the nucleus. One electron spins in clockwise direction, other electron spins in anti-clockwise. Because 2 electrons will stay in one orbital, I told, no? Okay, so both the electrons will not spin in the same direction. One electron spins in a clockwise direction, another electron spins in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, this is how. Okay, so among the two electrons, what you can write? One electron spins, one spins in clockwise direction, okay, and that spin is indicated by a digit plus half. What do you mean by plus half? That it is spinning in a clockwise direction. Just 1/2 is just a number indicated for the spin. Like 0 is for subshell S, right? 1 is for subshell P, like that. Plus half in the sense what? It is clockwise spinning. Clear? And the one which is spinning in anti-clockwise, that is indicated with minus half. Okay, so among the 2 electrons, one is represented like this, another one is represented like this. That means this is moving in a clockwise direction and this is moving in a anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so that is what we mean by spin quantum number. So orbitals have electrons. Each orbital have 2 electrons, but they are spinning, right? They are moving like this and rotating around the nucleus. So one electron moves in a clockwise direction, another electron moves in an anti-clockwise direction, and this is how they are rotating around the nucleus, right? So that's all about the 4 quantum numbers, right? So these are the 4 quantum numbers which are telling everything about the electron. Which main shell the electron is there, again in the main shell, in which subshell the electron is there, again in the subshell, in which orbital the electron is there, and what is the shape of the orbital, what is the direction of orbital, how the electron is spinning. So everything can be described with the help of these quantum numbers. Okay, and now we will take the help of these quantum numbers and we will try to write the electronic configuration. Okay, see, among so many electrons, sodium in the sense 11 electrons are there. So where exactly the 11 electrons are distributed? See, this is how the main shell, subshells are there. But where is the first electron present? Where is the second electron present? Where is the 11th electron present? 11th electron, is it present in the second main shell or third main shell, right? So we have to represent. We have to fix a position in these orbitals, right, for the electrons. So that way of representation of electron in various orbitals is called electronic configuration. Okay, looking at the electronic configuration, you can able to tell, oh, this electron is present in this main shell, oh, in this subshell, again in this orbital. You know, electronic configuration gives entire information about the electron's location. Okay, so we will start learning about electronic configuration in my next video. Until then, keep revising the concept. Take care and do subscribe our channel to learn the concepts in the easiest way and in a detailed way. Thank you so much.